Welcome into NHL Tonight, first shift for Wednesday, November the 26th, 2025, the day before Thanksgiving here in the U.S. Of course, we have viewers north of the border in Canada. We wish them well as well. And of course, we have Billy Jaffe from the Boston area joining us today. Jaff's got the Bruins and Islanders, I guess, tonight to worry about.
Yes, you are correct.
There you go.
Yes.
One of a 15-game slate. Almost everybody in the league. Edmonton earned the right to be off today by playing really badly last night. They needed a day, and the Kings somehow have the day off. So everybody else is in action tonight. We look forward to that.
Because they're the Kings. They're the Kings.
There you go.
The Kings get to choose what they do.
It's good to be the Kings. For sure.
There you go.
There you go.
Absolutely.
So happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there in the U.S. and, as I say, also in Canada, those who celebrate, because some do up north of the border.
Yes.
They already had their Canadian Thanksgiving a little earlier. Let's bring in J.D. Lindbergh, our producer.
Hello, gentlemen.
Hello, J.D. I know you're in good Thanksgiving
JD.
spirits.
Oh,
today.
yeah. I love Thanksgiving. It's an elite holiday.
Yes. You're working on a lot. What's going on at your house tomorrow? You're working on a lot of different
cooking.
things?
Yeah, Danielle and I are cooking.
Nice.
Got a couple chickens ready to go. Turkey a little overrated, so we're going with
Really?
chicken. Just 6 of us for dinner tomorrow.
You're not going with the turducken?
No, not the turducken.
I threw you a curveball there with the turducken. You weren't expecting that.
like an old school Emerald show. The
Yeah,
turducken. Yes.
The turducken.
We got to roll on, though. We
All
got
right,
a busy
let's
show
go.
today. Like you said, a feast, 15 games. Fen,
Yes.
show the people what's coming up on the shift today. Steve Kouleas is going to join us. The Oilers, they're looking for answers after getting drubbed on home ice by the Stars last night. Team USA, they revealed the uniforms for Milan coming up. We will see those. Get your sartorial takes. And then we'll set the table for an NHL Thanksgiving.
look at that.
But first things first, some Leafs news.
That's right. Indeed, we have some Leafs news and good news for the Leafs. Here's from Mark Masters. Huge boost for the Leafs today in Columbus as Austin Matthews, Nicholas Waugh, and Matthew Nyes will all return from injury. Matthews, today is a new day. It's a great opportunity for us to find our way through adversity. And that's the right approach because it hasn't been a good start, but it is a great opportunity in a league that is so tight, an Eastern Conference that's tight as a drum, Billy. For the Toronto Maple Leafs, yeah, we can sit here and count them out, and we don't like the way they've played in these first 20-odd games of the season. But the bottom line is this conference, I mean, there's nobody that's really running away with anything. Why not the Leafs? Why can't they get it turned around? So they get everybody back. They're sitting there at the bottom right now, but they're only 7 points behind the Lightning in the division. Now they got a lot of teams to crawl up over, but hey, it's tight.
Yeah, it's tight, and also this is such a split personality season. We're going to see so many schizophrenic moments this season from teams each because of the condensed schedule. And I think last time, or one of the other times I was on your show, we talked about that. And we're seeing teams go through major significant injury. Mm-hmm. We're seeing teams go through slumps, even without injury. We're seeing, all these things, sometimes you play a lot of games and you see people say, oh, it's easier to get out of slumps that way because you keep playing games. On the other hand, if you're in a bad funk and they're coming fast and furious, it's not good. With all that said, because the East, in particular the Atlantic, is kind of this, as I called it the other night, a mosh pit of mediocrity in some places,
good
that
point.
it ends up being still realistic for a team that in theory can get themselves straightened out. They should still be able to be in it. Now, they still need better goaltending.
Yep.
They still need better defense, and I think it's one of the things, and I don't like their foot speed. I've seen the Bruins play them a couple of times, and back on the blue line, I don't love their foot speed, but I do like when they get healthy up front when you add a guy who wears number 23 and a guy that wears number 34. Yeah. In theory, it sets them up for a lot of more goodness, right?
Yeah.
So they should be thankful that
and
they get those guys back.
Now,
will
they want, right, through the middle of their team, right? Matthews, Tavares, Waugh, Lawton. That's the look they want, and they get Nyes back on the wing. It allows them to do some other things, move Domi back to the wing. That's the look they're hoping to have and to stay healthy now from here on out.
Well, that's what they hope, but they still need to get their goaltending straight. Now,
no
Wall's
question.
Back, there's no, right. And again, I go back to their D crew. That I don't know how well I look at it and say, is it constructed as well? But Tana had been out for a while. So anyways, when all said and done, you look on paper, and I think this team still has a legit chance. They got to get better on the road, partner.
Yes.
They're
They got a lot of
1-6-0
road
on
games.
the road.
Yeah.
I know. Well, I know, but they got to get better.
They got to get better.
You got to
You're
be
right.
500.
Yeah.
You got to be 500. So listen, to get Austin back is great. Hopefully he's refreshed. If you're a Leaf fan and healthy, not just kind of healthy, but 100% healthy to get after it.
Yeah, they're 1-6 so far on the road. They've played, I think it was 15 games at home. So they're going to have a road-heavy schedule moving forward. Schedule gets harder, but at least they got their players back in the mix. Now, here's a note from David Pagnotta from the fourth period, and you see him here on the NHL Network as well. Brendan Smith is going to make his Columbus debut tonight versus Toronto, while Luca Pinelli makes his NHL debut, and Zach Werenski returns to the lineup because he got dinged up against the Caps the other night. There was some concern, but he was out early today. He will play tonight, so that's good for the Jackets. No Matthew Olivier, so the rugged Leafs players won't have to worry about him, so that's always good news because he's a handful. But
how good has he become? Seriously,
he's been a really
how
good player.
Good is he?
Yeah, really helpful
he has
player.
become significant.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, if you're a tough guy on another team, you're thinking this guy might be I think is the best fighter pound for pound in the league.
Yeah.
If you're going to get after it, you're going to have to deal with him. But he's made himself, high marks to him, just a very important player on that Columbus Blue Jackets squad. So it's a bigger loss than I think people realize. Perhaps just saying, oh, Matthew Olivier. No, I think it's a bigger loss.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with that. I mean, I think if Zach Werenski weren't able to play, that would be a huge loss for the Columbus Blue Jackets because, did their game the other day, Jaffe. The Jackets are playing the Red Wings. They ended up, and this has been a theme for them, I think 3 of their last 5 games, they had 2-goal leads. They ended up blowing the leads. They won 2 of them. They lost to the Red Wings on Saturday in overtime, but you can see how the D pairs look here for the Jackets. And, these games, we just talked about Toronto. It's the same story for Columbus. I mean, they find themselves 7th in the Metro, but only, a win elevates you back into the top 3 or 4. It's that tight. So this game tonight, and we sit here and, the night before Thanksgiving, these are for all these teams around the league, but in particular these two, they might be battling for that last spot before all is said and done. And I know that Toronto went into Columbus earlier in the year, and Columbus handed it to them. So this is really going to be an important game tonight.
I don't disagree because it's a whole vibe check type game. And even though every team's playing, or 30 or 32 are playing again on Friday, this is kind of that night before a holiday. Arenas are jammed. Everybody's out. It's got a different vibe to it. It always does this time of year. So I agree with you. It's a big game because you had one team in Toronto who had incredibly high expectations this year. Incredibly high. Then you got another team in Columbus who's on the rise. So the expectations are different than last year. Now, they still have questions, I think. I won't speak for you, partner, but about their goaltending. Is it good enough when all said and done? But my point is higher expectations this year than last year. Not as high as Toronto's were, but because they've been so inconsistent, they feel like they need to right it. So I don't disagree. There's an amazing amount, obviously tons of games tonight, but there's some really good matchups. And this is one I think that could fall below the radar a bit because people would say, yeah, but these teams are near the bottom. That's the point. They need to both get going if they want to have a chance.
Yeah, and Kirill Marchenko has been out of the mix for Columbus too. So
yes,
that's,
good point.
He's an important piece of the puzzle for that team. So that's a good one. We've got a little bit later in the evening, the Chicago Blackhawks, who have now dropped 3 in a row. We had their coach Jeff Blashill on yesterday. They've done it's been a really impressive start for the Hawks. They've run into a little bump in the road, and that's why this game against a red-hot Minnesota Wild team is really important because the Hawks, they want to stay connected to the pack this year. And the way you do that is you don't have 4, 5, 6, 7-game losing streaks. You cut those off. They got their hands full tonight at home against Minnesota, which has really picked things up. Zuccarello came back in early November, and then Wallstedt has just been like the shutout machine for the Wild. Yeah. And all of a sudden, this is a really good team. They've won 5 games in a row.
Their structure has been so good lately. They're 9-1-1 in their last 11 as Minnesota's gone, and they've scored the first goal. Great stuff from our research in the last 12. Yeah. Unbelievable each. Like, that's just phenomenal when you get so you're only giving up 1.5 goal a game on average if you're mini in that time, and you're scoring the first goal every game. So basically, you're up a half a goal right away to begin, right? I stink at math, but that's basically what you are if you begin the games, or if not 1 goal. So you mentioned goaltending. That's been rock solid. Good for Chicago, too. Spencer Knight has embraced this role with the Blackhawks, and he's done well. But with regard to the Hawks tonight, if Minnesota has the same stout neutral zone, D zone, it's going to be tough for these Blackhawks. Now, these Blackhawks seem to have more of a stick-to-itiveness than in the last couple of years. Obviously, they've elevated. They got a couple better players, but the high-end players seem to be more able to withstand the heavier stuff. They get, they don't kind of wilt. They stick with it, and I love that. That means that they're starting to feel things in the Windy City again. But I am very impressed, because I was not impressed with Minnesota the first couple of weeks of the season, but I'm very impressed with what I've seen from them. And this guy, I know I caught, Blash with you guys the other day. It's great stuff, and good for him getting this opportunity and getting the belief of this young team to stick with things and to not get off the tracks too much.
Yeah, that's going to be the challenge, right, for Chicago. For any of these teams, especially younger teams. Same thing with San Jose, who's kind of turned their season around after a slow start, is if you want to stay connected to the pack, you just can't fall into those longer stretches where you don't find ways to get points, you don't find ways to win games. Chicago has been better with the details this year. We'll see if they can get it turned around tonight. They just lost 1-0 over the weekend, so we'll see if they get it turned around tonight against a Minnesota team that has been stingy. All right, I mentioned the San Jose Sharks, and they've been playing some good hockey, and what a matchup tonight. Perhaps these guys will be teammates at the Olympic Games for Team Canada. Macklin Celebrini and Nathan McKinnon. They're going head-to-head tonight. Two of the top scorers in the National Hockey League. McKinnon, I believe, is still right at the top of that list. So, this is going to be an interesting one tonight, because Colorado has won 9 games in a row. They have proven to be head and shoulders above everybody else in this league right now. You talk to different people who play against them. Mike Sullivan was out there with the Rangers. He said, I haven't seen anybody near as good as the Avs. They play at that very high tempo. And so it's going to be a challenge for the Sharks. They're getting good goaltending of late from Askarov, who they brought in from Nashville a couple years back, and he has been a really good addition for this team this season. But I'll tell you what, the Avalanche, coming off back-to-back shutouts, they've been good just about everywhere you can be. And the game they beat Nashville on Saturday night, they got outplayed in that game. And it was Mackenzie Blackwood who did the job in goals. So I'll be curious to see how things play out tonight between these two teams, because the Sharks are certainly better than we thought they would be at the start of the season.
Well, no question, and it's due to the fact
that... Look at that.
I know. I just did their game the other night. They beat the Bruins in a game that Askarov had to be. He was fantastic in that game, E.J. He's got a .959 save percentage in November. So now you mentioned that he's been good. No, he's been really good in November. What I liked about his game the other night, he's kind of long and lanky, and he's got a lot of athleticism to him, but I thought he was very controlled with how he played. Like, sometimes I think in the past he would slide more, maybe overhandle the puck at times. Each very controlled, composed, and the kid's got a ton of personalities, you can see, and I thought he was excellent. He was the number one star in the game. So, you get growth in him, you get growth in Celebrini, you get, infinite growth. You get growth from Will Smith, Eklund. You get these guys that are playing just enough better. And boy, that sounds like great analysis, right? It's just enough. Mm-hmm. But they're so highly skilled. And you know what they have that's wonderful when you watch them play? They've got this belief that who cares that we're not supposed to win? We're going to go out and just play our game. Now, they can get a little wide open at times. The coaching staff's done a good job of making sure that they're better off like that. They don't get too willy-nilly out there. But this is going to be a brutally tough matchup. The only team to beat Colorado this year has been the Boston Bruins in regulation. And that Colorado team is scary when they are galloping. They just go. And like you watch them changes and all this stuff. Each, on the one hand, you're like, oh my God, I don't know if I see them losing much the rest of the way. On the other hand, having experienced the NHL's greatest regular season in history of the Boston Bruins a few years ago, you sit there and say, okay, it's great, but it doesn't guarantee anything. It doesn't guarantee anything.
It's so true. We talked about that the other day on the show. We had Mike Rupp here, and he was looking into that. And you're right. This has been a similar start to what the Bruins did. But we saw it didn't. At the end of the day, it doesn't mean a whole heck of a lot if you don't cash it in the postseason. And just a reminder for us and for the viewers and listeners out there, that, the NHL regular season and the NHL playoffs are two completely different challenges, and the Avalanche are uniquely built for certainly the regular season where they blow into town with that high-paced attack. It's hard to get focused on slowing them down. If you play them in a 7-game series, listen, It's still a handful. There's no question. McKinnon and Makar, two of the very best players in the history of the game. But you can dial in, and if you have certain, some teams match up better. Dallas has been able to deal with them over the last couple of years. They have made some changes to their lineup, Billy. Do you think they're deeper? Forget about the regular season. They're going to be in the playoffs. They're playing really well now. They'll probably have some ups and downs along the way. And if they stay healthy, when you think about it, is this a team that you say to yourself, yeah, they can definitely win again this year?
I do feel that way.
Yeah.
But boy, are we so far away from, once they get there.
I know.
And again, obvious statement, or things can change. But, when you look at them up front, and you look at how guys have settled in, the Nelsons, the Drurys, down the middle, you get depth on the blue line. It's hard. And depth in goal too. Yeah. Wedgwood is probably feeling better about his game than he ever has as an NHL player. I mean, Blackwood's played 5 or 6 games so far. That's it. He's coming back, getting himself going. So they got depth in many different ways. Are they? Listen, I don't know how they couldn't be legit for a run, primed for a run. But your point about a 7-game series is obvious. It's a whole different world. It's a whole different style, a whole different mentality.
No question about it.
You've got games and off days to prepare then regularly for a team. It's so different structurally.
And there's so much. There'll be a lot of pressure on them as well. But you know what would be fun to see at the end of the year? If they do win, it would be pretty fun to see Brent Burns holding that Stanley Cup over his head, who's had such a long career and has been such a terrific player and one of the great personalities. It would be great to see that if it could happen. So, long way to go, and it should be a good one tonight. Celebrini and McKinnon head-to-head there in Denver. It's always good to get star players back, and here's a note from the National Hockey League. Brady's back. Brady Tkachuk will return to the Senators lineup on Friday to play for the first time since October the 13th. The Senators are on a road trip, and he will return on Friday against the St. Louis Blues in St. Louis, where he grew up. So I guess kind of fitting, Billy, that he was able to do that. And, look at this. Since October the 14th, the Ottawa Senators, and they were a playoff team last year, and we like a lot of their young players. But, you're without your captain, sometimes you stumble. They've been okay. That's a pretty good record, especially the way things have gone in the league this year, 10-5-4. Point percentage is good. They're scoring goals, so they should you would think they'd only be better once they get the captain back in the lineup.
No question about it. And I like the fact that, normally we get news posted the day of, right?
Yeah.
They're actually, and the league's promoting that he's coming back 2 full days away, right? So it's very exciting. You get a young player with a ton of personality, obviously a lot of skill. They're 9-3-3 in their last 15 games. I think a big reason they've done well is that, they're they got a line that's centered by Pinto along with Amadio and Giroux, Claude Giroux, that have been really good each. I've watched them a couple of games, both against Boston and against other teams. That line's been huge for them. And you got some great, you got a veteran, obviously, in Giroux. Pinto, I feel like he's just elevating his game now to another level, very confident. And by the way, read that he took his team out for dinner in Vegas the other night just because, he signed that new contract. So it was his turn to pick up the tab. Not bad at all. And then how about the play of Michael Amadio? All he's doing is scoring the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah.
So, does it make up for not having Brady there 100%? No, but it sure helps a lot. And I think it's been leadership by guys like Giroux, by committee, and they skate very, very well each.
Yeah.
Very well skating team.
Yeah, and hopefully, Linus Ullmark will get better. His save percentage, .877. I think he can be better than that. So Brady Tkachuk back on Friday. Now, they are playing the Vegas Golden Knights tonight. And you can see this tweet from Gary Lawless. The captain, Mark Stone, taking the Golden Knights morning skate in a regular jersey. So Mark Stone looks like inching towards a return. And you can see here with him in the lineup, it was a great start, 4-0-2. You can see the goals, and the power play was just so much better. Since he's been out in these 16 games, it's been middling, right? I mean, they've been, I mean, that you add those losses up in the overtime, then that's 6-10. And, the goals for dropped off significantly. The power play dropped off significantly. And, it just goes to show you that here's, one player. I think we saw it. We've seen it, in Minnesota with Zuccarello, who came back in the lineup and really helped the Minnesota Wild. And I think, Mark Stone is one of those guys. He's not the fastest guy. He's not dazzling at this stage of his career, but he's so smart. He's so aware on the ice of where to be. He breaks up a lot of plays with his stick, and he just knows where to be to help create offense, and they miss him.
Yeah, and speaking of that, what I was going to say is he gets his backside to the front of the net. Speaking about creating offense, and that creates a lot. He's a big man, good hands, big man, gets himself not afraid at all. Center drive regularly there. We haven't seen nearly as much offensive production out of Dorofeev and Marner. I don't think it's a coincidence, right? Since he's been out of the lineup, again, he's around the puck, he's around the front of the net. We can say with 100% certainty that the emphatic kind of reaction to scoring a goal has been down in Vegas because Stone celebrates every goal like it's his first goal, which I completely respect and impressed by. But this is a guy that does help reset the lineup. It does. And it's a team that, if you take a look on our screen here about where the Golden Knights are, just, the battling for that top wild card spot right now, that started the year out with some question marks on the back end. They still have question marks, E.J, as far as I'm concerned, in net. I think that's going to be a huge question mark for them all season long.
Yeah, and they have, Carter Hart is slated to be able to appear in an NHL game on as of the 1st. They play on the 2nd. So we're thinking that he's likely going to play in that game. He has been with their minor league team kind of getting ready to play. He hasn't played in almost 2 years. So that's where it is with the Vegas Golden Knights, right? I mean, Hill has been out. They've been scrambling with different netminders, and now they're hoping that Carter Hart is somebody that could come back from this prolonged absence and give them solid goaltending. So this is, I think you're right. I think it's going to be a concern all year long.
No question, because it's unproven. I know Hill has a little bit of a track record because of his health, though. Right. I think there's a question mark there. There's no doubt about it.
No question about it. All right, the Senators and Golden Knights, one of 15 games on the docket tonight. When we come back, Steve Kouleas will join us for his weekly spot. He's concerned about all the teams in Canada, but particularly the Oilers. We'll talk to Cooley next on First Shift. Let's take a peek at some stats from last night's game between the Stars and the Oilers. Provided by NHL Edge, powered by SAP. And you can see here the Dallas Stars, they worked the Oilers last night. Jumped out to a 4-0 lead. High danger chances, wide margin. Look at that high danger goals. Offensive zone time. It wasn't good for the Oilers, and their leader, their captain, Connor McDavid, was left looking for answers.
I don't know. I don't have many answers for you here tonight. I don't know. I don't have any answers.
So big picture, defensively, is something you guys have been struggling with this year more than in previous years. How concerning is it that the D side of the game is as far off as it is right now?
I think it stems from the whole thing. We're not good enough with the puck. And, it's leading to sustained, time in our D zone. It's the whole thing, We're not getting up the ice, not forechecking pucks back, and we're playing too much in the D zone. There's not many D zone systems that hold up after, 30, 40 a minute in your D zone. It's tough to defend.
And a man who knows that you don't want to play too much in your D zone is that man in the center of our screen there, one and only Steve Kouleas from NHL Network Radio. Cooley, it's kind of painful to see, Connor gets a million questions all the time. And when things aren't going good, I mean, he looks pained in the good times sometimes answering questions. But, boy, it's been a tough go for the Oilers. They've played more games than anybody else, 25 games. And our research group came up with it. 25 games in 49 days. That's a lot of hockey. Where are the Oilers after last night?
Well, E.J., good to see you again. Billy, how are you? So when you can't check, you don't win. And if you're not using this, I mean, the first goal had two defensemen behind the net and nobody out in front to check anybody. And that was two of their best defensemen, 2 and 14. Kulak has had some issues. He had trouble on the Bastion play. Just, they're too easy to play against. And I know fatigue and melancholiness of losing 2 cup finals, all of it is a factor, but they've wasted 25 games. 500 teams and teams a few games above don't make the playoffs. The math, if they're going to get to 96, means they're going to play 600 plus hockey. Okay, maybe they can. They seem to be a faucet team, turning it on when they want. But they can't check. They're not getting a save. Too much time in their own zone. Too easy to play against. Not good 5-on. Oh, that's a lot to fix. That's a lot to fix right now. Oh, and they're worried about the toilet paper in the bathroom. Maybe it's not the 3-ply. There's a lot of things to worry about there, Billy.
Who wouldn't like 3-ply? I mean, come on, when it's all said and done. Listen, I mean, come on, Cools. This team has started slowly. Regular last couple of years, only to turn it on. It feels a lot different to me. Maybe it's recency bias. I had the game on to my side while doing work here in my office last night. With all the things that you said are true, but most notably, it just looks like also to me, I'm not seeing great first effort, let alone second effort, Cool. And that's concerning to me where this team's at.
Yeah. And I hate using the E word as an effort with NHL players. I like to say energy and execution, because the E word, the give a rip Kovalev meter, if that's one of the reasons, I mean, that's a bigger problem. So, and the other years, slow start, turned it on, and the burnout hurt them. Even though they got to the 2 cup finals, I think the fatigue factor at the end of the year hurt them. And you had the great numbers, EJ, from the research department of fatigue at the beginning of the year. But a lot of the guys that were there before, there's no Connor Brown, there's no Evander Kane. We're way past talking Broberg and Holloway. I just don't see the overall depth. I see a lot of guys not slotted properly. I see a lot of guys playing poorly. And when you see McDavid's expression there, this isn't good. And I don't think that this is a team that can just snap their fingers again and then shoot to over 100 points. I don't believe it.
Yeah, they've gone to that well a couple of years in a row, and maybe the well will be dry this year. And again, those numbers, the underlying numbers are not good. So we'll see where things go for the Oilers. Let's broaden it out to all of the great white north, all of Canada. Is this another situation, Mr. Kouleas, I ask you, as the leader of your nation? Is this is this a woe Canada situation? I mean, are we going to have any playoff teams? What's happening?
Well, I'd love to be the leader. We wouldn't be at 71 cents, among other things. I don't know if we'd go 30 plus years without a Stanley Cup. Oh, another stat: when McDavid and Draisaitl are not on the ice, the Oilers are minus 20. So they're an American League team, it looks like. So. Listen, I'm not guaranteeing any Canadian team is going to make the playoffs. What, you think I'm going to put the Kouleas pesos on Ottawa and Winnipeg? You know, there's a mathematical probability that it's 0-for-7, buddy Biancalana. So when you look at, I mean, Calgary, Vancouver, Toronto, the math is horrific. I like Montreal. And remember, don't be fooled by points now. Goal games above 500. So you got your Montreals, your Ottawas. You know, Winnipeg has a health issue, of course, in the crease, but they've got enough talent, I believe, and team defense that I think they should overcome it. So let's say Ottawa and Winnipeg probably get in. Let's say the other 3 teams I mentioned, Toronto, Vancouver, and Calgary, are not getting in. Montreal, I think, is a little over 50-50. Remember the +4 and figuring things out in the crease. And then you got Edmonton, and we just talked about them. Oh, if McDavid and Draisaitl can play the whole game, yes, then they'll make the playoffs. But this ain't basketball, and I'm worried about the Oilers. You imagine 0 for 7?
Wow.
Oh my! I might have to live in a Secaucus basement near EJ.
Yeah, that's right. I'd feel bad for you. I'd feel bad for you.
Don't expect EJ to take you out for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, though.
No,
Cole, if you're there,
no,
okay?
No.
No.
Doesn't happen.
No.
Doesn't happen.
No. I don't want to beat up on Canada because it feels like it could be, instead of whoa, it could be no Canada.
Yeah, that's right.
But can we move to the Nashville Predators? Can we ask about them here, guys, and talk about, what they're not about, and do they have enough really good trade prospects to make them a better team, not just for the now, but really for the future? Do you think they can get enough back for some of the guys that we keep hearing rumors about?
I don't know. This is worse. Calgary's in a good spot. It's okay if they have a sell-off.
Yeah. Build
a new building. They got a goalie of the future, defenseman of the future, and a few pieces up front that they should add to when they trade Kadri, Rasmus, and everything else, Rasmus Anderson. But when I look at the Nashville situation, this wasn't the plan. The plan was to be a playoff team. And a lot of the guys on this list, they just got here. And it's time to move them now. And what would the return be? Of course, you got no movement clauses that do come into play. There are some future prospects: Matthew Wood, Brady Martin, Cameron Reed, Igor Stearns doing well in the KHL. Ryan O'Reilly's probably the best chip. He's won before, Cup and Conn Smythe. He has no official no trade, but it's kind of a handshake. He only makes $4.5 million, and already there appears to be Montreal maybe knocking on the door for a second line center. I mean, if you're Haig and Perbix, right, EJ and Billy, they've been on winning teams before, so they're used to winning a lot. Like the Brady Shea situation, oh my goodness, is that how good Rod is? I mean, I don't know what the return would be, but guys, you heard Barry Trotz. He's protecting his coach and all the other players. I mean, when they don't want you, no movement or not, EJ, they find a way. And maybe some of these guys put their hand up and say, I will waive and I want to win because I'm in my mid-30s.
He's protecting his coach. He better start protecting himself. I mean, he has put this together. And I love Barry Trotz. I mean, he was a great coach in the league for many years. He won the Cup with the Caps. He turned the Islanders around. He's been a really great coach. But as a manager, this has not gone well. I mean, he's made some big moves that haven't really worked out. He made a coaching change, and he took his time making that coaching change. And, he brought in Andrew Brunette. Andrew Brunette had his best year with Florida, and he was rewarded for his best year by getting fired in the offseason, and had that work out. Worked out great for Florida because they went to 3 Cup finals after that with Paul Maurice. So who knows if Andrew Brunette is really the answer there. But Barry Trotz has got a lot of things that he has got to figure out now. And let's be honest, guys, you guys know it. He has created it. I love the guy. He was a great coach. As a manager so far, it has not gone well, Billy.
No, it has. And he's the one that came in and wanted to decided to sign Stamkos and Marchessault. And you get, both guys that really want to score. You need guys to get the puck back. They had Kiefer Sherwood there, who I'm a huge fan of. But, listen, unfortunately, this is a team. Actually, a few years ago, everybody's like, "Oh, they're kind of on the rise again." And now they've got some of these contracts, and UC Saros, he's signed for what was it, 7 more after this. So, Kouleas, it's Music City. I mean, it is not pretty right now there, and it's such a phenomenal place too to go to a game.
Great place.
The fans are amazing.
Love it.
It's just amazing,
Yeah.
and I don't know how long. They're going to be like, okay with where they're at. Cool.
Yeah.
Right now it's a tough spot there.
Yeah. And I would assume they start with Saros, Yossi, and Forsberg as kind of the sacred cows. Mm-hmm. Any offer that you get that can improve your team, of course, you're going to take it, but you still have to sell tickets, and you still have to the younger players that I talked about are going to need mentors, and you need a save, right? And in theory, Saros can be better. I look at Marchessault with, counting this year, 4 years, 5.5. Age, retaining maybe some salary to increase what you get back. And how many of these guys go, it's not working? It's almost like you go to the casino, you're down a couple grand, and you say to your wife, I'm going to go to the bank machine. Or maybe you say, no, I'm going to go home. And if the answer is I'm going to go home, then some of these guys are going to have to move. And we're coming up to the anniversary of the Joe Thornton trade that we thought would never happen in a capped era, November 30th, 2005. There's some big names there who are clearly on the back nine. Can they resurrect their career somewhere else? The stamina numbers we've talked about all year, and I love the guy. He's a distant cousin, but 4 goals, 2 at even strength. I mean, he knows. Could it work somewhere else? I'm not sure, but I think that they know this team is not going to make the playoffs, and it's going to win. And they're slow, not just foot speed, but puck speed. Yeah. You can be a bit quicker if you move the puck. That has not been solved. So if I'm them, I'm making these moves. Who else are they going to trade with? Is St. Louis, Toronto, Calgary? Yeah. Are they going to trade amongst themselves? It might be too early for that, but I think that they know that this is not a meal. They know that this is not a meal, and they have to make moves.
All right. Well, listen, you got the goal light there. What do we got this week? I know with our parlays here, it's been a disastrous year. I mean, mostly JD has been doing it, but others, I stepped in, I've failed, others have failed. So we turn to you. You've had a good year with your predictions. It's a busy night. What have you got cooked up?
Yeah, we got a good record. Look what we did for Scott Wedgwood. We might have him going to the Olympics, E.J., what you and I did, and we turned around Jack Eichel's mini slump last week.
Look at that.
I'm going to try, like the roommate switch, something that's never been tried before, the quad, okay? I'm going for 4, everybody. McKinnon, Celebrini, Bedard, and Billy's buddy, Morgan Geekie. The quad. They all score 4 for 4.
All right.
Tonight.
All right. That's bold. I mean, now you got a lot of good players there, but 4 guys all scoring on the same night. It's almost like you scoring a goal in your men's league.
Well,
no.
Let's be honest.
No way.
Let's not go there.
No.
From the skate to the stick, top corner.
Boy,
boy.
My.
I'm on a streak like Jason Robertson right now. The problem is the team. We're not the Dallas Stars, Billy.
Boy.
What is the name of that team? The Big B. What it should have a K on it for the Kouleas.
Yeah, it's got a B.
Named after beer. We're the Brooklyn Barleys, because that's what we do after the game. We go for a couple of
I can tell you one thing. That defensive zone coverage is terrible. Terrible coverage.
Oiler-like? Is that what you're saying?
It might have been worse. But anyway, nice goal by you. You took your time. You had about 2 hours. I mean, you had so much time there. I mean, for crying out loud. Show me that goal one more time.
Not bad for an old guy, Billy.
All right, the heck with the goal.
You teach the kids that. Yeah, you can teach the kids that, Billy. I know you're on the ice with your kids. Yeah. So that's not a bad play for an old guy.
That's right. Nice job by you, Cooley. Way to finish.
Yes.
We like it. Good luck tonight. And even though you're north of the border, I still wish you happy Thanksgiving. There you go. All right.
Happy Thanksgiving to you guys. I celebrate U.S. Thanksgiving.
There you go. Cooley's in on everything. All right. Team USA getting ready for the Olympics. They unveiled the jersey that you'll see in Italy. We'll show it to you next on First Shift.
You guys support us so much. I want to make you guys feel like part of the team. We are officially announcing the Olympic and Paralympic jerseys right now. So these are your first looks.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow. This is so cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. How cool is this? This is
what
awesome.
What an honor.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no
Thank
problem.
you so much.
And that's the Jersey guy right there, Jack Wallace, bringing some tidings to the Today Show this morning as Team USA reveals the jerseys for the Olympics and the Paralympics. And Jaffe, I mean, looks like just going old school here.
I love it. Absolutely love old school. Clean, crisp. I mean, I'm a huge fan of NHL jerseys that less is more and strong colors. And not because I'm from the U.S. and live here, but I'm telling you, I think these are just sharp. And I don't know, I'm not a jersey nerd. Like, I don't know, the little intimate details per se, comparing one year to a next or so, but I feel like it looks like 80 and 60, a combination type of thing. And I hope I'm accurate. At least that's what appears to me there. And I just think they're strong, each. I do. Very crisp.
Yeah, I like them. I think 1980 they were across, because I was always under the impression 1980 was diagonal, but they were across in 1980. I think maybe in 60 they were diagonal. But listen, I agree with you. It's more of a vintage look. I think it looks terrific. Nice to see, 1960 was they had the diagonal there, gold medal teams for Team USA in 60 and 80. I love the look. It was nice of Jack Wallace to do that on the Today Show. And then one of the last models we had up there is a friend of the show, Declan Farmer. And one of the great, I'm not even going to say one of the great sled players, Paralympic players, one of the great hockey players that I've really ever seen. This guy is just such a talented player. Watching what he can do in that sled and just the dexterity in both those hands and the power that he plays with. So gets to model that jersey as well. So friend of the show. And, we've talked a lot about the Olympics. We're going to keep talking about it. I guess the announcement will be on January 1st, I believe, of the rosters. So then we could all sit and debate and see who's in and who's out. And then there'll be injuries. But a couple of guys that are pushing, and really the guy that's at the top of the list right now is Jason Robertson, of guys who are not on the Four Nations team. Jason Robertson is as hot as you can be. I mean, he has got goals in 7 straight games, which is a Dallas Stars record. Brian Bellows had 10 in a row for the Minnesota North Stars back in the day, but goals in 7 straight games. He's got 17 points in that stretch, 11 goals. Billy, I don't know. I think if you're talking about making a case, he's making a case.
Yeah, he's making a case. He's making a case. He's going to have to buy a case for all the money he's going to make too with the new contract. To carry it, a big case. There's no question that kind of things have really come together for Jason this year. I just think they're gonna have to look, and I know Billy Guerin and his crew will. All right, we love offense, but what are we looking for when it's all said and done for guys that we're adding to the team, and because the guys were taking off the team, the Four Nations that were there. So where does Jason Robertson fit in all that? I think he does fit there. The big lefty, when he plays with that pace and when he plays interior, man, oh man, his scoring it's scintillating right now. I think he's one guy. I also think Tage Thompson is another guy with his length. Yeah, and his shot, and he's got 21 points, so it's down a bit from where Robo is at 31. But he was called up to the Four Nations last year, and I just think that here's a guy that, well, size isn't everything, because I wouldn't say most physical players, but it's a lot. But it adds. It's a lot. It adds, right? I mean, it adds.
Yeah. You know what else adds? The fact that this guy can score from anywhere in the offensive zone. He can score from distance. And we saw what he did at the World Championships. There it is. Yep. I mean, just coming down the right side and snaps it and scores. I mean, listen, that was in games that are going to be decided by 1 goal, in games that could end up in overtime. You need a guy that can produce in those moments. And Tage Thompson showed he can do that, and he has that ability. And you're right, he's a big, long guy. He's hard to deal with. Listen, there's no perfect players, but I just think a guy like that adds so much to your group. You get into a tight game, you need a goal in an offensive situation. I don't know if there's many guys that can just come over the blue line. How many guys in the league can come over the blue line and literally score from almost anywhere in the offensive zone?
No, I agree. And the other thing is circumstance, timing is everything. And if you're talking about Robertson and Thompson, and there's other guys too. I mean, Cole Caulfield, Alex DeBrincat.
100%.
They're hot, right? But I think the fact that, the first 2 guys we mentioned, if I was a betting man, which I'm not, they have the inside track, I would, right now. That's what I would say. The other guy I'd draw out there, not on that list offensively, is Seth Jones. Pushing for a spot. I think he's played his way into serious consideration, if not almost guaranteed himself a spot.
Big right shot defenseman, part of a Stanley Cup winner in Florida. Certainly changed the whole thinking about Seth Jones after he went to Florida and helped win that Stanley Cup. So we'll see. So a little bit more than a month for Billy Guerin and company as they put together the team. The fans are revved up for Turkey Day tomorrow. We will set the table.
So am I.
Easy, Billy. I know how you are around food. Set the table for you next on First Shift. Well, it is time to set the table. Look at that. That is very lovely. And to set the table, we bring in J.D. Lindbergh, oh boy, surprising us. A surprising little props.
The props department coming in strong for a shift.
Well, hey, listen, we're done for the year. We're done for the year. That's the budget right there. $3.
It's over.
It's over.
All righty, guys. Final 2 minutes of the program here. Let's set the table on Thanksgiving Eve. Fen, to font 2, please. Everybody knows the stat about teams in playoff position at U.S. Thanksgiving. You can see it on the screen there. 75% or north, averaging out to about 78%. So, fellas, first question, set the table. How many of the 16 playoff teams currently are going to change? EJ, you first.
I'm only going to say 2. I'm going to say 14 of the 16 that are in now are going to stay in. I was looking at it, and the teams that are out, I don't necessarily think they're that great. So I'm going to say most of these, I'll say 14 of the 16, Billy.
I'm going to say it's either 3 or 4 that are changed. So at least 3, if not maybe 4. So I'll go 12 of 16. I'd take a number. And I just think that there's enough, as I said much earlier in our show, partner, split personality. Like we got some crazy kind of, Sybil type things going on here. That I think that we're going to have 3, for sure 3, probably 4 teams this year that are out, going to be in, and vice versa.
All right, JD.
All righty, final minute of the show here. So I think this will be the last topic we get to. Which team's got the most to be thankful for this season, Billy Jaffe?
Well, I mean, can I say Anaheim and Coach Q, having him there, and the growth of Leo Carlson and Cutter Gauthier and Dostal? I think they got a lot to be thankful for because they've gotten themselves into a great spot, EJ. We thought they'd be better, but they're a lot better and they're a lot of fun. So I'm thankful that they're fun to watch because it gives me something to stay up for watching on the West Coast.
That's right. Well, I'll say the Islanders with Matthew Schaefer. I mean, listen, that kid is, we met him at the draft, and he's just a special kid, and I've been saying right all along, I'm rooting for the kid. I was worried coming to the NHL. He's barely 18 years of age, barely played last year with injury. I talked to Yuri Lettinen the other night, Team Finland. He was over at the Ranger game. He goes, I can't believe how good this kid is. And that's Yuri Lettinen. So Islanders should be thankful. I wish we had more time, Billy, but we don't. You have a great Thanksgiving.
Happy
you out there have a
Thanksgiving.
great Thanksgiving. We'll see you next week, everybody.